everyone. I am Mahima Bhagat. I welcome you all to another episode of the JIBS Conversation Series. In today's episode, we have with us Dr. Sanjeev P. Sahani, Principal Director, Jindal Institute of Behavioral Sciences at OP Jindal Global University. I welcome you, Dr. Sahani. It is a pleasure to have you with us today. Our topic for today's discussion is COVID's effect on children's social development. COVID-19 has brought a lot of unprecedented changes for the past 1 year. And one of the most significant change has been the shift for students and adaptation to virtual learning. Let's explore this shift to virtual space. So my first question to you, Dr. Sahani, is what are your thoughts on the adaptation to virtual learning by children?
First of all, I must thank you. It's a very relevant topic. And, this is the time of uncertainty. This is the time of insecurity. This is the time where students are not aware how and when they will ever go and they can learn in the schools. I want to put it on record. The outstanding performance of teachers, because teachers have not been trained in India on online learning. If I remember correctly, the last week of March, they all immediately moved on to online learning within 1 week. And I also must tell you that there are a lot of evidences at the moment that online learning is also quite effective. Our children adapt quickly as compared to adults. Most of the children are familiar with or adapt to the new technology quickly. Virtual learning provided a structure to the quarantine days. Although since teens have the opportunity to stay connected online to their peers, primary and middle school students have experienced a loss in their social development. So, a limited time with technology and to connect with peers online because of the parental control. Children learn basic etiquette and discipline through a structure provided by school. On an average, a child spends 8 hours in school for 5-6 days a week, which holds for a significant chunk of their lives. The child builds emotional and social bonds with peers or teachers and works on their social competence. So, I would suggest that this transition, especially in the pandemic, to the online very effectively has taken place, and my compliments to students as well as teachers.
Rightly said, sir. Continuing on that, online teaching and classes have been criticized heavily and mostly by parents of primary and secondary school children because of low attention span of kids. What are your thoughts about that?
You are very right, because span of attention in children are anywhere ranging between 10 minutes to 20 minutes, because then children will get up and change their posture, and it's not possible. And in online, we are suggesting, and we are conducting many webinars for teachers to educate them that how you would be able to change the pedagogy so that they can adapt to the online learning. One of the study which I want to quote, 50% of the teachers said children were not being able to complete their homework assignments online, and so were not learning at the same pace or as thoroughly as they would have otherwise. Also, they mentioned that 70% parents being of the opinion that online classes are not effective for the learning for their children. But these are the very conflicting results. Number of studies are also mentioning that these are also effective, that evidence is there that rather it takes little less time also. So these are the studies are coming, and we are also learning through this. Not only just school lectures, but less breaks and also tuition classes leading to frequent headaches. This neuro psychological or psychosomatic issues, I would say, back pains and other health issues as well. Excessive screen time disturbing the sleep patterns of student. Yes, I do agree with you that screen time is increasing because they spend good 5-6 hours online learning from the school, and then they also spend another 2-3 hours on an average onto the social media. And if they are spending like good 8-9-10 hours in front of the screen, that there are chances that they may even become an addict for online. But not being able to ask doubts, sit in front of the screen for long hours, missing out on lectures, not being able to catch up, those are the major issues which students are reporting these days. More anxiety, less time for recreational or physical activities, sense of alienation has also been reported by few students. Less help from parents, because parents are also into traumatic situation because of increased chores at home. They are not able to spend that kind of a time with children these days.
Rightly summarized, sir. These are the issues that we have been seeing and even hearing through different studies and different articles as well. So there is a growing concern about the developmental changes and loss of opportunities for social learning for these children. According to you, what would be the long-term consequences of children being confined to virtual learning?
It is definitely going to have an impact on children, needless to say, definitely. Because learning in a physical classroom, not only through teachers but also from peers, modeling, which is difficult in online classes, we need to accept it. Building different kind of relationships with peers, critical at younger ages for primary, middle schoolers, or learning social, emotional skills, how to work through difficult emotions and conflicts with peers. Loss of such opportunity in an online classroom, we are witnessing this and students are experiencing this. Just to give you an example, with the loss of social development and skills like conflict management and managing emotions, can lead to many difficulties as adults. Social anxiety, increased loneliness, anger management and communication issues, problems with building boundaries, lack of cooperation and empathy. There could be more, but these are the reported ones which students have felt that they are into, these are the major effects they could see which they have been reported.
I understand, sir. These are the issues, and this could also be some of the long-term consequences of being confined to virtual space. And so, since we have established that, continuing on the same continuum, in a developing country like India, with the socio-economic divide that exists, a lot of issues came into the light, like digital divide and non-inclusive education policies. There is also huge disparity in the availability of high-speed internet and smart gadgets and other necessary resources. So what's your take on that?
That's my major concern, in fact. And the rural part of India, interior part of India, there are big issues on that. A reality of education system in rural, semi-urban and poor parts of India, we must accept it. They don't have gadgets, they don't have smartphones, they don't have a Wi-Fi, they may not have a data. Poverty, in our country, this is the lack of because of the proper housing, daily wage workers, no proper electricity and TV or internet connections. This is the major challenge which probably, I don't have the actual statistics, but maybe 60% of the students may be facing this. Kids are expected to help the elders in the family with chores, especially young girls, because they are not going to school, and the gender gap visibly, even in the access to technologies, because if there is a one smartphone, that will be used by the son rather than by the daughter. So these kind of issues we have in our country. So these difficulties making it even more difficult and adding to the miseries of children, harmful to their psychological health. We must talk about it, and we have a lot of concern about it. A clear evidence comes from the news item talking about children dying by suicide because they could not attend their online classes or their parents could not afford a phone. But if you talk about a affluent or a rich families, maybe they have many gadgets, they have a Wi-Fi, they have everything, but students are reluctant to sit and learn through the screen as well. So these are all kind of results we are able to see in our country in past 1.5 years. Now, mentioning the economic inequalities and struggles of the government schools, the recent reports also pointed that less than 100 Indian government schools had internet in 2019 and 20, and I really wonder that after that in 2 years time how many schools would be having internet. But anyway, the students are not going to the school, but we want that student to have internet at home, or at least the data, 4G, 3G and so on. Increased struggle for children with disabilities, we could see that the children and the parents, they are so much concerned on these issues.
That was quite an informative take, sir. You rightly said that there are a lot of struggles, and if we focus more on the government sector, there are a lot of extra issues that still needs to be explored and acknowledged. So continuing to that, we have explored the negative aspects of this issue. But as it's rightly said that there are always two sides of a coin. So according to you, what would be the positive aspects of shifting to virtual learning by children?
Yeah, this is the same thing which I said in the beginning to you, that it's a conflicting results we are getting it. I know that all over the world, now the new concept is that online learning is quite effective, and rather they said that it takes lesser time than the classroom. So let's say in a classroom, if the period is for, let's say, 50 minutes or 1 hour, so they said the online can manage in 40 minutes. So these kind of researches are there. Benefits, these kind of things to children who learn better by watching, hearing things, can watch lessons on repeat to understand better and at their own pace. Like in psychology, we always say that one is, if you are reading something, maybe it is you can retain only 10%, but when you are watching something, then you retain even up to 20-25%. So children found different and new ways to talk, relate and bond with their peers through online games, showing their collections, pets, art in online classes these days. Online classes still trying to provide a structure in the lives of children. We are working on it. We can't say that we have a best practices and everybody could learn it well. People can take meals at proper time, during class breaks, sleeping and waking up at appropriate hours, preparing for their classes. These are the benefits, I would say, of online learning. Learning became more interactive with various online tools like screen share, whiteboard in places. There are a number of things like most of the teachers are using whiteboard online as well, which is directly be written or seen on the children's screen as well. So, online education allows students to attend classes from any location of their choice. It's not necessary that you need to be at home. Even you can travel and can do that. Online lectures can also be recorded, archived, and shared for future reference as well. This allows students, to access the learning material at a time of their comfort. So, we can say that even though these are difficult times that we have been going through, there are always ways that we find to turn these challenging circumstances into opportunities and growth.
That was such a positive take, sir. Rightly said that there are opportunities even in the most challenging of circumstances. Now, moving on, lastly, what do you propose to minimize the effects of these lost years for children and how they can cope up better with it?
I have a message for parents mostly. I would say parents do not do any kind of moral policing. That whether their children are studying online, even if they go to toilet for 3 minutes, they said, hey, you are missing out something. So parent can provide extra support to children to cope up better by maintaining certain schedule. So you make a timetable, people are going to work. Constantly initiating conversations, asking how they are feeling, giving them reassurance, asking about their needs, this will definitely help our students. Helping them with their doubts, encouraging physical activities and breaks will also help children to grow better. I would also request parents that please allow them for a limited gadget time to connect to their peers and friends. Involving children in some physical work every day in order to boost their immunity and keep them active will also help children. Maintaining a sleep schedule to avoid emotions like distress, anxiety taking over. So parents can play a major role, and my message to parents: be supportive and be with your children, and that will definitely make their life much better.
So, Dr. Sahani, we can say that by interventions of parents in the right way, they can help children not also to bond with them properly, but as students also help them cope up better with the uncertainties that COVID had brought.
That's right. Thank you. Yeah.
We now conclude by saying that COVID has affected children, especially middle school and primary children, and their social developmental years. Also, adding to that, income inequalities and socio-economic barriers have also impacted children of this country, in addition to the lost social developmental years. I thank Dr. Sanjeev P. Sahani for their insightful words on this issue. We end this here today, and stay tuned for another interesting topic for the JIBS Conversation Series. Thank you.